very smart pick, but it takes time to ramp up. You do need those 2 items to get to the evolve before you feel powerful.
Thank you for the lesson there, Professor Hungry Cast. It's a very insightful note for us. Before we head into the second game, remember Marshall is 1 game up and 1 game away from securing 3rd spot. But will Mystic push us into a decider? Let's see. Let's load into the Rift. See what happens.
Just for the record, I'm going to state it again. Looking at the draft, I am now Marshall-sided, but I might just be cursing them.
I mean, you know, commentators curse is always a thing, right? But the fact that, you know, SOLOZ is on his comfort champion, the Lee Sin. We saw, I mean, that game against Inspire from Indonesia was just crazy.
I can't count them out, like you said, because of SOLOZ Lee Sin as well as PENJAHAT Z and FREDO's Olaf. That is still going to be a very scary thing. It's just when I look at the draft in itself in isolation without the players, the Marshall draft looks better. So it just comes down to execution, right? Like we say, it's all about the execution right now.
Oh, I think early games still gonna mimic what happened in game 1. Basically, hey, I'm clearing, you're clearing, just don't touch me and I won't touch you, right? Let's just be peace out before, until we hit level 5, sorry.
Mid lane, it's gonna be like you said, clearing waves. Ari with the early lead gets the pressure. She actually levels the
early
charm level 2 this time. Because, well, it makes more sense if you have a jungler that's super aggressive like Graves. If you hit the charm, you have enough damage to actually kill the Z, and you still have to practice the same thing. You still have to practice discipline with the charm. You can't, you know, throw it out willy-nilly, otherwise you get caught and you die.
FREDO, I think he's gonna kill one more auto attack. Oh, is he gonna go down? No, he survives with the skin of his teeth. Gonna recall. Yeah, he sees the grace. He knows he's done well. Look at the smirk on his face. He's like, yep, got the advantage, guys.
And for those of you wondering how come, you know, the Olaf does a small jump, it's a mini gap closer. It's one of the changes in Wild Rift, right? You don't have to have such a close cast range anymore. There's a bit more leverage. So because of that, Olaf feels a lot more powerful compared to the PC version.
Here comes the Grace. Might go for something, but just gonna use the end of the line to clear up the minions. Make sure that the Ari has a good time. 1-0 early lead, but we saw this in game 1 as well. The early lead was with Mythic, but it was just not enough.
Good word there from NX Live. He actually spots out the dive before it happens, knowing that he did die solo already. So now you gotta be careful, right? What happens if Lee Sin comes up and tries to dive me? So you do need the wards in case Olaf and Lee Sin gank you.
Yeah, and I think this concept of the Jax versus Olaf is pretty similar to the Darius versus Jax one, right? You just want to stay alive. Yes, FREDO has the advantage because of the nature of Olaf. He is a lane bully. Just stay alive. Don't die so many times. I mean, 1 time is still kind of acceptable, but make sure you don't get bullied away. Oh, yeah, okay, you're fine.
He actually manages to tag him with the undertow.
Oh,
and the second one. So those are starting to do damage. Remember that he tends to max undertow first.
Yeah, SOLOZ comes here. Here comes the flash into the Dragon's Rage. It's clean as a whistle, and that's an advantage. Huge advantage for FREDO in the top lane.
If I'm not wrong, the ward did spot SOLOZ out, but he went for that play so quickly that there was really nothing much that NX Live could do about it. If you saw how he executed, he immediately safeguarded over the wall, flashed into kick into Sonic Wave.
Yeah, very smooth execution. That's what you kind of need, right? And SOLOZ, this is why we talked about Lee Sin being such a strong pick.
Very solid Lee Sin player just for this immediate role swap. PENJAHAT and FREDO, we'll see ICEICE here. If they kill the Graves, they actually set him back quite a bit because he hasn't really recalled to buy, if I'm not wrong.
Oh,
so
does he know about it? I think he knows. I think he knows. Yep, he saw FREDO. He's not gonna be able to walk in there. He's just gonna clear his Crocs, and I think he's gonna recall from that.
Yeah, ICEICE needs to base here. He needs to buy. Most likely it's gonna be a Black Cleaver or even Trinity Force.
Oh, but the Jax wandering around. Both of them are just like playing with fire. They're like, yeah, I know you're there, Zed. I know you're there. Ooh, rip off, pretty close. And now he's gonna go for the death block. Needs to be careful. Will there be enough damage? He flashes into it. There goes the smoke screen, the turret. It's not gonna be enough. Origin back, and now PENJAHAT's the one in trouble. A little bit too that PENJAHAT can see he's a little bit disappointed with himself. Does go down and gives away a huge swing.
Remember what I said in the pregame, Matthew, about this Graves? You get natural armor from True Grit. You have multiple ways to dash out because of your True Grit dash as well as your collateral damage. And the smoke screen stops any form of chase down. Right now, Fredo, he has to be very careful. He's under turret range, and there's a lot of mobility on the side of NX. He has to be careful. Once he gets aggro, he might just go down. He gets stunned into the clutch. He flashes away. The minions might just finish him. One more auto attack. He drops aggro from the brush, and he's gonna recall inside. And Fredo, he's clenching his teeth. He's nervous. You can see he's on edge.
That was so close, but now this one's not close enough. But John gonna get hooked over the Ignite as well. Now Dragon going over to Team Marshall. This is what we saw, exactly the same thing as Game 1. Really good macro play coming up from the Burmese squad.
Yeah, the Graves is only going to get bigger and bigger, especially if he buys a tab eyes or some variation of health, right? So most of the time you'd see like Black Cleaver, you'd see like Death Stance. These items increase the survivability of Graves while making him scarier in terms of damage output. So he's going to be able to deal with Penjahat actually pretty well in the later game. The classic response to Death Knot is you put the smoke screen literally on top of yourself, dash away collateral damage, open some distance and force him to chase you, and just trade out the ultimates.
Yeah, and also you're just disabling the Fog of War. No vision for him. It's so hard for you to follow up, and you always second guess yourself. You don't know what's around you.
That's why I think this pick is really good. It took them the last game of their potential, tournament journey to get there.
Oh, Jax. Yeah, he's dead, I think. There's no... You remember, as Jax, you cannot leap against a ward, but he's actually still staying alive here. Gets kicked away. Dragon Race will come through. Ari's actually being collateral damage. ICEICE stuck between a rock and a hard place, trying to just macro it out, but it's not going to be enough. He's going to go down there. A little bit of a misplay coming out from Team Marshall.
What happened there was Team Marshall streamed in one by one. You never want to do that, especially in an enclosed area around Baron Pit. You have to take these fights 3-on-3, not one by one.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And now Fredo is really, really big. You can see he's queuing up the Starix Gauge, and I think this Rift Herald will be going over to Team Mystic as well.
Yep. Once they finish this, they can activate the Rift Herald in mid-tier 1 and look to secure their objective as well. You can see on your minimap the half health bar on the red turret in mid lane is an indication that it will probably go down to the Rift Herald being used here.
SOLOZ does have a good item spike. Has that Yomu's already. Now this means that he is going to have so much potential when it comes to pickoffs, right? The Yomu's active, giving a little bit of more movement speed and that lethality. But now Void Seeker lands onto the Ezreal, not going to go for it. Now, Kaisa has been pretty quiet actually.
She went for Blade of the Ruined King. You pay attention to her build. So Blade of the Ruined King gives damage, gives attack speed. She's going to be closer to her Q and E evolve, the Acathian Rain and Supercharge respectively. So it's gonna be, when I say Kaisa power spec, it's based more on items than it is on levels. You would see her come alive maybe around the 9th minute mark where she's got all the evolves. She's gonna be a lot more powerful then.
Yeah, I think that's what you're looking for. Remember, I think late game, Marshall looks a little bit better just for the fact that they do have really high potential to go for those team fights. They have that lethality, this Jax and whatnot, but now going for the dive, and Hourglass Enchant, really quick fingers for NX Life, gonna keep himself alive. Very good play. Here comes ICEICE for the help. The cavalry has arrived and will force Mystic away.
What an insane adaptation, Matthew. Look at this guy, right? He says, I've been dove 3 or 4 times in this game. I'm going to go for an immediate Zhonya's Hourglass to survive. Meanwhile, on the opposite side of the map, a lot of kills coming out already. Jumping across, Penjahat gets the double. It's a 2-for-2 trade, I believe, with Penjahat getting all the kill credits there. NX Life has to be very careful. They're still chasing onto him. The flash in the undertow. The Ignite will not do anything in Fredo. He just dives him with the Wrecker Swing.
Yep, that's a really good pickup there. The thing is that he stayed in a little bit too long over there with that Jax. He stayed alive there really, really good. Was a little bit too greedy. Should have just backed off here. Now, the main thing is that this Ari and Grace has not really came online yet. They need to start making things happen. They have the farm. They are a little bit behind in terms of EXP. They're just finding a little bit struggling to find their footing, right?
They haven't gotten to the point where they're impactful yet. I think the Ari is still struggling to deal with the early pressure of the Lee Sin and the Olaf. Penjahat, meanwhile, has already bought the Dustblade and a Caulfuse Warhammer, so this is going to be pretty scary moving forward.
Yeah, he has the cooldown, he has the lethality, he has the damage output. But the one thing that has got going for Team Marshall is the fact that they got the Drake, and they need to try and contest for the second one, I feel.
It's going to be Air Dragon instead that has spawned here for Marshall. Team Mystic actually taking it very low already. They need to go into range. They might have to smash this collateral damage. No, it's been taken away by the Lee Sin, and now the fight breaking out. Team Marshall reorganizing and re-attacking here in this Dragon.
Olaf,
members of Mystic. Have to be careful. Kaisa has arrived. She's chasing down a quick double kill already. The charm missing, but it does not matter because they have the numbers. They should be able to find the kills here. Brom getting focused down the death mark onto the backline. Original Matt has the Zonyas. They have the space and they will be chasing onto the Ezreal right now. Original Matt uses the charm, will connect, and he should get the kill here. And members of Marshall, the Burmese squad, just chase member after member. Mystic, no one left alive here except for the Zed, who's desperately trying to run away.
This is just like the first game, right? Early game, looking good, looking pretty from Team Mystic. And then bam, wham, kazam. Just one team fight, one small rotation. Yes, you can say the Dragon went over to Team Mystic, but they lost the team fight and they lost a turn in the same process.
So two things happened there, Matthew. I'm not sure if you noticed, but one is that every important member of the squad has a Zhonya's upgrade right now.
Yeah.
So they cannot be targeted, they cannot be killed by Zed in big team fights. The second one is Ace here has been positioning significantly better than the Ezreal when it comes to outputting damage. Ace is always doing damage and repositioning with the Killer Instinct, whereas the Ezreal can't really land anything. So in these big fights, the Kaisa does a lot more than the Ezreal.
Yeah, and we talked about it, right? The late game, they do come online here. They do have that Grace. They do have the Kaisa. The Jax as well. They are just traditional late game champions. They just needed time, and now this could be the power spike that they were looking for.
If Fredo takes this fight, he might actually lose. I think I give it over to the Jax right now, just in terms of being able to stand toe-to-toe and duel. The important thing and the key thing being just dodging the undertow, right? If you can get around the undertow, you're completely fine. But if Fredo sticks you with like 5 undertows, it becomes a lot worse.
Oh, that's one. There's 4 more to go, right? Oh, he does go for the counter strike. Does get stunned. But the Reckless Swing doing so much damage. I think at this moment, Fredo will still win the one-on-one. You can see the Balling Glacial Fissure was being expanded. They tried to go for an engage with the cover of Penjahat on his Zed. So they're pretty confident they're just going to walk away from now.
Unbreakable comes up. They're still looking to take this fight. A lot of damage down onto the Braum already. You can see the stacks from Kaisa.
Oh, Zed.
Plasma has been fully stacked up, and now they have to be careful. This split map movement is still pretty good from Team Mystic as they come in onto NX Live looking for the dive. They will be happy and settle for the tier 2.
Yep, good play, good rotations coming up from SOLOZ, went up to the top side. They knew he was just gonna get the hell out of the way. Flash was spun from Jax. He just wanted to stay alive, and the most important thing is you do not want to lose your inhibitor turret so early on, right? Alright, now, what are your thoughts here? In this mid-game, pure mid-game stance, do you still fancy Marshall, or do you think Mystic has a really good chance this time?
Marshall has the better team fight just purely off the build and the composition that they have. And every time the Zhonyas are available, they always win the fight, right? Because Penjahat will be forced to commit Death Mark into a undesirable target. So from then on, they can always reposition, they can always fight. However, Mystic still excels in getting these insane picks because SOLOZ, you see with the Dragon's Rage, has been isolating members.
Yep, and he's doing really well. But there will come a point where this Lee Sin will start to fall off. He'll just become a kick bot, for lack of a better term, right? They need to try and capitalize something from there. At the current moment, I think Mystic, with their lead, will not be able to close out the late game. We've seen from game 1 how well Marshall maneuvers into this late game status, so they need to be careful. Oh, Void Seeker does tag onto Fredo. He can use the Killer Instinct if he wants to. He's not going to opt to go it for now.
The difference in map status also is that the mid-tier ones have been taken down by Team Mystic. Oh, hold on, big fight here. Glacial Fissure already being used. They're using their abilities to kite away. Look at the backline, big damage coming in for Team Mystic. They're still jumping forward. Now Marshall in a lot of trouble. The Death Mark. No Zhonya's Hourglass means that he goes down, and Mystic have found the miracle fight that they needed. A great opening coming in from members of Mystic to start that fight and now move to Baron.
A 4-0 exchange. That's what you want to look for. And now they're going to go Baron. That's a big swing. And they hit the full home run. I'm not really sure what happened there. The start looked a little bit iffy from Mystic, but they managed to converge. It was Fredo with that Olaf coming from the backside. And this is going to be a free Baron.
Baron secured here for Mystic. They should be able to use this and leverage the power to push the lanes out. You thought about Fredo in the side lanes earlier being strong and pushing the wave. Well, now with the Baron buff, it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, the thing about the Reckless Swing, it's a little bit of a also change, is that it does AoE damage. It's a very small AoE, but it's still AoE. And when they clump up like that, it hits everyone.
Very nasty indeed. Mountain Dragon just adds insult to injury as Solo secures that for his team. The second game in the best of 3.
They're not out of this yet, right? They can still come back. They can still drag the game along. but it's just not looking good. It looks like we are gonna go into a third game at the moment, unless Marshall can pull something out of the hat.
I think the tricky part is, the draft looks good, but they haven't really been playing to their strengths. They need to be setting up properly for the Kaiser to be doing DPS, and they've just been getting caught in these weird chokes, getting funneled together for no reason.
Well, mid lane, Glacial Fissure will come to Braum was a little bit of trouble. Blitzcrank is there. Can they find for it? Oh, Jahat with that. Whoa, just deletes that chat. And he's just gonna go for it. He's gonna juke him out. He's going for more.
Oh,
the
no.
highlight reels, then the ignite to just clean house for Jahat. The emo to put. I think that's the signal. We're gonna go into a game 3. Fredo, he's just buying time. The 2 remaining members, he's gonna rotate into the mid turret now.
What was that, man? They get that all in now inside the Nexus. They're going for the final structure, and PENJAHAT on Zed. If that isn't an MVP play, I don't know what is.
That was a really, really strong play, but I have to say, Fredo was the one with the initial team fight in that mid game to just push the advantage back onto that side. So I guess right now, they should be happy here in this thing, but everyone's still not really content. They're still really, really serious. Look at Ismail. He's like, yeah, it's like, and he goes black. Yeah, they're not really happy. They know the job's not done. And Haris, I think he's really, really tired, man.
The last game coming up, Mystic put it to a draw, and this best of 3, Again, the idea of the series, if it was a best of 1, Marshall would be walking away with 3rd place. If it was a best of 3 now, like it is,